Okay, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be talking about entitled parents. I don't think I've ever made a video on this before, but it's been a highly requested topic, so today we talk about it, right? Entitled parents are exactly what they sound like, extremely entitled about a variety of things, thinking that somebody somewhere owes them something by virtue of their existence, right? So we're gonna take a look at a few stories here that really juice you up, you know? They give you that 2020 feel of, man, I just hate this. Starting off with our first story, give my kid your PS5 or you've ruined his Christmas. The story is pretty much a really annoying guilt trip, right? And this kind of reminds me of something that happened to me before as well, where people really want something from you, and despite you saying no multiple times because, you know, it's your choice, they keep insisting and making you feel bad for it. So the other day, I, a 30-year-old male, got lucky and managed to get hold of a PS5, which are pretty much like gold dust in the UK at the moment. Work has been ridiculous this year, and my PS4 broke a few months back. To say that I'm hyped for it and some holiday downtime is an understatement. The console finally arrived the other day and was left with my neighbor. I knocked on the door, thanked them for taking the parcel, and exchanged some pleasantries when she casually asked if it was anything nice. I told her it was a PS5, and we had the usual small talk, and I went back inside thinking nothing of it. Later we had a knock on the door from her husband, 38ish, and he said that his wife had mentioned that I'd gotten a PS5 and they wanted one for their 7-year-old son. It was all the son wanted this year, and it's been a tough year for his son as he's not been able to see his friends much. So would I consider selling it to them for what I bought it for? I said I understood, but I really didn't want to sell it as I was looking forward to playing it myself. That's when things got a bit weird. He huffed a little and said Christmas should be about kids and I should really consider how hard it's been for them and offered me an extra £50. I said I wouldn't be selling it for any price. I wasn't looking to make money on it. I just really wanted to play it. Alright, so the guy has been working all year, right? And he finally gets his PS5. He orders it, gets super lucky, gets gifted by the gods, and he gets his console, right? And his neighbors who saw it by chance really want it for their 7-year-old son as well. And honestly, like, trying the first time is perfectly acceptable. Just asking your neighbor, like, hey, I was wondering if you could sell it. My son really wants it as well. But he said no, right? And he described how he wouldn't sell it for any price and he just wants to play it. That should be the end of that, right? Because he's been looking forward to it all year. So insisting beyond that and just kind of guilt tripping him, saying that Christmas is for kids or whatever, is really scummy, but it just gets way worse. Just take a look. So the neighbor left and he said he hoped I'd reconsider as you and I are a bit old for video games anyway, and walked off. End of story, I thought. The next day he comes over again, this time with his son. He said his son really wanted to see the PS5 and he had heard about it. The boy then said to me that's what he really wanted for Christmas and hoped that Santa would get him one. I replied that hopefully he would, but it's been really busy for him this year, so you might have to wait a little longer for it, but if not, I'm sure he'd get something nice instead. So he's like, okay, this guy has literally bought his son into it, like, just trying to, like, beg for this PS5, and this guy, like, props to him for standing up for himself and saying that, hey, Santa's gonna get you at some other year, okay? Like, you're not guilt-tripping me like this. But it doesn't stop there, okay? These people are actually psycho. These neighbors are so annoying. So, another day passes, and my fiancé said that they had posted something weird on social media about how they had thought 2020 would have made people less selfish and more giving, but they were disappointed in their neighborhood, which had forgotten the community spirit and how people should be more thoughtful towards the children in the street, given how much they've all suffered this year. Off the back of it, my fiancé asked if I should sell them the console just to keep the peace. Oh my god, dude, can you imagine this? Like, you just want to keep your damn PS5, and your neighbor just constantly, relentlessly just berates you about it. Literally brings this kid into it with his puppy doll eyes. Hey, my 7-year-old wants it. Like, tough luck, dude. It's hard to get a PS5. And then actually, like, posting on social media about your neighborhood, which is obviously about this guy. Like, let's be real. It's so passive-aggressive. It's so petty. Just calling them selfish for wanting to play on their own console, which they paid for and they literally got lucky to get. And let's not forget those snide remarks like 30 years old is too old for video games or something. Like, he just wants to enjoy it the same way the 7-year-old does. In fact, he'll probably get more enjoyment out of of it because the 7-year-old will probably forget about it and, didn't work for it either. Not saying that he shouldn't get it, but it's probably the parents' fault themselves for not getting the console, and they're trying to, shift blame on this guy, oh, because of this guy, Christmas was ruined for my 7-year-old. No, it's because of yourself, your own incompetence in not getting the PS5 or not even settling for a different present, right? How are you possibly gonna talk about community spirit when you act this absolutely petty? Now, even a soon-to-be wife is telling them to give them the console just to, keep the peace, because you don't want your neighbors hating you, right? Because you literally have to see them every single day. So it's so annoying. Later in the day, they came around again to tell me that I had promised their son he'd be getting a PS5 for Christmas, and now it would be ruined if he didn't get one. She said that I'm an adult and should be thinking of kids at Christmas, not acting like one playing video games, and that I was being unbelievably selfish and cruel. He added that he didn't know how we could enjoy Christmas, knowing that we were horrible people that had ruined a 7-year-old's Christmas. Yo, not gonna lie, I've never wanted to shout at people this bad before. Man, oh man. The level of guilt trip in this post is over 9,000, dude. So let me get this straight, right? You promised your kid a PS5 for Christmas. You couldn't get one because of your own incompetence, because obviously you made a promise that you couldn't keep. So you got his hopes up, right? You got the 7-year-old kid's hopes up, and now he's gonna be disappointed because you made a promise you can't keep, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Then instead of just accepting your mistake and just getting him a different present as if a 7-year-old is gonna hold a grudge for life because you didn't get him a PS5, what you decide to do is absolutely ruin some random neighbor's Christmas by guilt tripping him into thinking that he ruined some kid's Christmas by literally buying a PS5 for himself, which he has every right to do. He has every right to play video games as an adult as well. I hate that argument as well. It's an awesome experience, just like how you probably watch movies and TV shows. It's literally no different. I never get this, oh, video games are for kids. Okay, then movies and shows are for kids. It just doesn't make any sense. I feel like the more you grow up, the more people just want you to be sad and miserable. Apparently when you're an adult, you're just not allowed to have fun anymore, and you must toil away and waste your life and sacrifice every happiness you have and give it to some random kid, right? It's pretty funny. I can pretty much see exactly what happened here, right? So they pretty much messed up. Their kid is upset, and they don't want to take the blame for it. They don't want to be these bad parents who didn't get their child what they wanted for Christmas. So ironically, they are the ones acting like kids and are trying to shift blame on a random guy who has nothing to do with anything. Way to go. You just made 2020 a whole lot worse for your neighbor, right? Now don't worry, obviously it doesn't end there. Now, I've also heard from some people on the street that they've been talking poop about us to people, though most neighbors are just staying out of it, but we're definitely getting some daggers from the Mums Who Lunch crew. We live in a super nice neighborhood, but it's firmly middle class. Lots of private school kids called Hattie and Sebastian. We're definitely the youngest on the street and the weird childless couple, which I don't think the PS5 gate is helping with. My fiance just wants to sell it to them to end it, but I'm still trying to hold firm. Okay, listen, me personally, I wouldn't sell it, okay? You earned that PS5, you bought it with your money, you had plans, you were gonna enjoy it. Don't let your stupid neighbors guilt trip you into this, because sure it would probably make them happy for the time being, and it would make the 7-year-old happy or whatever, but I feel like it would disturb the laws of the universe, if you know what I mean, where scummy people just kind of get what they want and they get away with their terrible behavior. I feel like we have duty as humans to not allow that, right? They messed up, they have to deal with it, right? If you bail them out this time, after how horrid they acted towards you, I'm pretty sure they'll get the message that, hey, if I ever want something in the future, I just gotta repeat this process, be this terrible person, act horrid towards everybody, and eventually they will buckle down under the pressure and give me what I want. You can't let them have that. They'll just do it again. I'm afraid if it was me, they will have to spend Christmas without that PS5, and I just gotta add to this, right? As if a 7-year-old really cares about this, okay? He's just gonna keep crying, but he couldn't appreciate a PS5 if it smacked him in the face, okay? They're clearly boomer parents who don't understand a PS5 they would probably spoil their kid, dude. I don't know. Okay, I'm done. That's about it. I can't believe I'm ending it on story 1. I was originally planning to look at a few more, but this kind of just pissed me off too much. I'm sorry if you wanted more, but I think for both of our sakes, this is probably the best direction of this video. Moral of the story, fellas, stay true to yourself. There will always be people in your life who try to take advantage of you and pretty much gaslight you into thinking you're the bad guy in these pretty clear situations. Just don't fall for it. You know in in your heart that you're not doing anything wrong. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. Subscribe if you're new. Smash like if you did enjoy watching. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the story. And yeah, have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.